What's up, everyone? The stock market had an awesome day intraday, but as after hours started and the big earnings came out, it started to turn around in a pretty big way. Looking at Apple stock, Amazon, and Google, a lot of these stocks are tanking in a major way as earnings really upset the market with them. So in this video, we're going to talk exactly why these stocks are tanking, some of the best setups going into tomorrow, and at the end of the video, we have a $700,000 big money trade that you won't want to miss. But let's get right into today's episode.
Yeah, Mike, I will say it actually started off as a very awesome day, and pretty much all day long, the market was popping up and we got some amazing moves and continuations out of some of these stocks that have had good earnings lately, like AMD, Meta, Nvidia was flying up, Shopify was moving. All these growth stocks were up today, like Roku, Teladoc, Coinbase was up 23%. So we actually saw a lot of stocks move. But everything is changing now in after hours with some of these earnings reports that are bringing us back down. And Mike, we've been talking about this all week long. And yesterday, we started moving up with Powell, and it seemed like a pretty good move. You know, the SPY's holding up above 400. We broke above 410 and ended up doing an amazing run to the upside. But now we have to be very careful, as we warned. This could change everything here, and I will say it looks like SPY has a big double top at like 418, and I just know that these big earnings, Mike, are going to be some of the more influential things in the market. We don't really have much left this week on like the economic calendar or anything like that coming up. We do have the unemployment rate tomorrow morning to worry about, but other than that, you know, these big earnings tonight were pretty much the end all be all in the market today, Mike. And I'm really going to be watching the market tomorrow because I feel like we're going to have a pullback, especially just because of how overextended we are with this Powell move.
Yeah, so like the thing is that not all stocks in the market are treated equally, right? These powerhouse companies like Alphabet, like Apple and Amazon and Microsoft and Meta have a very significant influence on the market overall. So when we see them tanking down, that really sets the tone for the market in a bearish way. Now, looking at Apple specifically, their earnings were actually kind of scary. Their sales dropped 5%, which is actually the largest quarterly revenue decline since 2016. So that's not good to see at all. On top of that, they missed on their revenue and earnings expectations, which isn't good to see. It's their first time they actually missed on earnings, in a while, like I said, since 2016. And part of the reason that Apple's struggling is that the strong US dollar definitely hurt their bottom line. And then they're also having production issues in China. And it's just like their earnings weren't like that great overall. I wouldn't say like they completely got destroyed, but it just, they weren't good enough to justify a higher stock price.
Yeah, especially like when you said, when you haven't had a miss in 7 years, to just come in with a miss now is obviously not a good thing to see. And that revenue missed by, what was it? Looks like over 3 billion, almost 4 billion there. The iPhone revenue was down quite a bit. I know that they've had a lot of issues. You know, they had a lot of issues in China that hurt production. They've had a lot of ad revenue issues as well. So it seems like Apple's having a lot of short-term problems that I feel like will go away and they'll get back to normal. I did notice, Mike, like that iPad revenue really beat out on like the Mac revenue and the iPhone revenue, which was interesting. That really beat expectations there. So it's not like all the numbers are negative, but those overall numbers like revenue and EPS are definitely not looking good. And I will say Apple has a pretty big support around 140. So I will be watching that over the next couple of days. If we start to fall below there, I don't know, we might start to go back on a slight downtrend, at least for a couple days, because look at how much we've been moving up. Honestly, this drop isn't really anything compared to this big uptrend.
Yeah, like I think the whole after hours movement could have been a lot better if like some of the other earnings reports were good too, but even if we go to like Amazon, for example, their earnings weren't that great either. So they beat on revenue expectations, which were good to see, but they lost on their earnings expectations, which suck. And then their AWS revenue missed expectations slightly. So it's just like the earnings just aren't good enough. You know, it's like I said, these earnings are not horrible, but they're just not good, especially when you have, stocks moving the way that we've had over the past couple of weeks. If you just have mediocre earnings, you shouldn't be expecting the stocks to pop, especially if there's no crazy news with like, a giant buyback or anything like that either. So I guess what's okay when it comes to Amazon is, they do expect their first quarter revenue to grow between like the range of 4% and 8%, which is decent to see, especially compared to, Apple and Meta, which actually are having falling revenue.
Yeah, that is good to see, Mike. And I will say their report was a lot better, I'd say, than Apple's report, where they missed on pretty much everything. At least they beat on revenue at Amazon. I thought that was nice, at least. But the EPS obviously came in there at the loss. So I think that's the main reason why they're down. But like you said, the overall market climate lately has been so bullish, and we've been having such nice moves to the upside. I feel like people were almost like waiting for some big reason to take profits. And, missing on earnings is a very good reason to lock in gains, especially whenever Amazon is up as much as it is right now over the past couple months. So like from the recent low to the high here, Amazon was up about 40%. And I mean, that's quite a bit for such a big company like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, we can't forget about Google, aka Alphabet. Their earnings weren't all that great either, and they're tanking down too. And basically, the story with Google is very similar to the stories of Amazon and Apple. They missed on earnings expectations and revenue expectations, and their ad business is actually slowing down quite a bit. And we all know how Google has a lot of exposure to just, advertising. So either way, it's just the earnings weren't all that.
Yeah, they didn't miss by a ton, but they just didn't wow investors. And whenever stocks are flying up like they are, you have to try to wow investors, and it just didn't happen this time. But I will say it was pretty negative to see all of these numbers come in just slightly down, like the cloud revenue slightly down, traffic acquisition cost down, YouTube advertising revenue down. So yeah, not a good report for Google, Mike. And looking at Google stock, they're actually right around a key support at $100, which is going to be a humongous psychological level. So I'm going to really watch that over the next couple days. I think that is very interesting that, of course, all these big earnings come out as these stocks just started breaking big levels.
Yeah, and one thing we want to emphasize really quickly is like these stocks definitely have the potential to continue to move in crazy ways in after hours. Just the other week, we saw Microsoft basically move in a giant way to the upside as they reported earnings. But then once they had their conference call, they completely reversed and then tanked down. So it's like with these stocks, what the management says on the earnings calls can also have a big influence. So keep a close eye out for those forward-looking statements.
Yeah, I will say that I've seen a lot of stocks reverse from that, Mike. So good point there. And I'm just really hoping that these stocks can at least hold some of these bigger supports that they recently passed, like Apple around 140 and like we talked about there, Google at 100. So I'm really hoping that we can at least hold there so the SPY can stay up, because right now the SPY is actually holding up pretty well, I'd say. I mean, it's down a little bit in after hours, but honestly, it's not really down too much considering all these bad reports happening. So I will be watching it for a move below 413. I'm really hoping that this can hold, Mike, because all the other reports this week actually went pretty well. AMD did pretty decent earlier in the week and started flying up. Meta did good as well. I know Snapchat took a tumble, but they're a little bit smaller than those other two companies. And you can see they actually recovered over the past couple of days, which is nice. So, maybe if this overall market volatility and overall market uptrend keeps up, we might actually see these stocks recover back up too pretty quickly, because, a lot of stocks have been running quite a bit. And what I thought was also interesting, Mike, was that UVXY was on quite the uptrend today too.
You know it. And speaking of UVXY, our bot absolutely crushed it. So if you guys are into short-term trading, especially options trading, definitely pay attention to this. Our hybrid bot called out the UVXY $4.50 strike call options today at $19 each, and it ran all the way up to $51 each. So that was an awesome move there. And our other plays from the bots just absolutely crushed it today. Looking at the day trading channel, the Google call play popped by 129%. The FDX play popped for 101%. And the Amazon play popped for 47%. So these are all day trades, guys. So if you're into short-term trading, definitely check out that first link in the description and the comments down below. Our bots are amazing and you won't find them anywhere else. You'll also get access to a bunch of other awesome tools, a lot of which you just can't find anywhere else, as well as big money trades every single day before the market closes. So definitely check it out. In the worst case scenario, you can cancel at any time, and you also get a discount coupon code for your first month. So definitely check it out. But Tom, while we're in the Discord, let's also give a shout out to our member of the day, Rajagam, who just crushed it. He had like a over $5,000 day. So awesome job.
Yeah, I like it. God bless Papa Powell. That was right. He killed it yesterday for us. And man, that market really continued up today. So awesome day, over $5,000 there, 91% on that P&L. So amazing play. And hey, keep it up. I really like that. And I like your profile picture too there with the birds or the ducks. It looks pretty.
All right, there we go. So Tom, let's take a nice look at SPY. You know, it's at a crucial level and we need some analysis. So it's been all over the place over the past week. What are the most important levels we need to know about to the upside and the downside?
Yeah, so 413 is actually looking like a huge intraday support from today. I noticed that there was a lot of bounces there towards the end of the day. Even at the beginning of the day, we had a nice bounce there. So 413 is going to be huge. Now, what I like about 413 is that I like this as a nice level. If we break down below here, I'll be watching for a move back down towards the 410 support, which is a little bit bigger in my eyes. I was really waiting for 410 to break this week, and we finally got that break above that yesterday with Powell, and we actually held it there yesterday right at close. So 410 should be a huge support. If we do happen to break below 410, watch 408 after that. But I don't think we'll go much lower than 408 tomorrow, Mike. If we do, it's going to be quite the bloodbath, I'd say. I guess watch 406 if we keep going down. But to the upside, I really like that 414 support. And if we're able to move back above 415, I would watch the SPY possibly to come back up and retest 417. So you might be able to get like a 2-point move in there if we retest there. And then watch 418, obviously, is that main resistance. But I would really just watch the 2-point move. Just make it nice and safe and catch a good scalp, especially with how much the markets went up here. I don't think that we want to push our luck too much, you know, trying to trade a big breakout after Amazon, Apple, and Google just died.
True that. So I'll definitely keep those levels in mind. But now I want to talk about some setups for tomorrow. And I know this first setup's definitely going to trigger some people. So I'm looking at NVIDIA, and while this stock has been exploding over the past couple weeks, I'm actually looking at it in a bearish sense. So NVIDIA has had in just a completely crazy run up lately, and we're to the point where we're very close to this crucial resistance level right at $220 a share. Either way, the stock is just up so much over the past couple weeks and past couple months where I would not be surprised at all if it starts to pull back, especially given that we had a lot of these big market moving tech stocks tank on earnings. So for tomorrow, I'm looking at NVIDIA in a bearish way. I think it has room to pull back to 210, that 210 support. And then if the market's really tanking down, there are other support levels at 206 and then also 200.
Yeah, I like those supports, Mike. I have those same exact levels on the chart. So I'll definitely be watching NVIDIA for a drop down below 210. That should be a very nice level to watch. And I love trading NVIDIA, one of my favorite stocks to trade. I don't even care the direction, Mike. Just NVIDIA and AMD. I feel like those two stocks are just, their options are always liquid. And, you know, the stocks are always having decent moves. So I like that too. And, you know, you talked about NVIDIA triggering some people, Mike. I think I might steal the thunder from you here. I'm going to actually look at Tesla back to the downside. And man, I'm going to watch for this to possibly fall below 182 and then 180 tomorrow. I see that as being a huge area of support. And with these tech stocks falling, I just feel like Tesla can also come down. Now, Tesla's been also on a good uptrend. You know, it had a low down here, like right around like 102. And then we actually just hit today all the way up around 200. So I'm really going to be watching this. We hit off that big resistance at 200, and I'm going to, you know, just watch it for a nice continuation play back down.
All right, sounds good. With the next one, I'm watching Fiverr, so FVRR, and this one is to the upside. It had just an amazing amount of momentum today, like a couple other stocks. It just blasted up. I am watching it for a play to the upside. It does have resistance right around $50 and $55 per share. But a lot of it will depend on the overall market tomorrow. So like, let's say the market is just getting destroyed tomorrow, this will not be like my ideal setup. You know what I mean? Because if the market's tanking, I don't want to be playing a stock to the upside, especially like a growth stock. At the same time, let's say the market's blasting to the upside, I will prioritize this Fiverr setup over the NVIDIA downside setup. So I'm watching Fiverr to the upside tomorrow, but like I said, just keep that overall market sentiment in mind.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really smart way to go, Mike, because that overall market sentiment's probably going to make a big impact in some of these stocks. And even though Fiverr is a growth stock, it's still affected by the overall market. You can even see today at the end how it started like dipping down as the SPY started to fall back down a little bit. Mike, I'm actually going to be looking at some bank stocks here. So my second stock of the day is going to be JP Morgan. And I will say, I just noticed a huge support here around 138. So I'm going to be watching this for a possible break back off to the downside tomorrow. Now, if banks do decide to pop up, that would be awesome. I hope that they go up. And if JP Morgan breaks above 139.50, I'll watch for a push up to 140 and then possibly a little higher there for a little scalp. But I'm really going to be mainly watching it for it to fall below 138. I feel like there's a lot of selling pressure right now. And when I look at JP Morgan on the daily chart, they're also pretty overextended to the upside, just like a lot of these tech stocks are.
All right, good stuff. Well, with that being said, it is now time for the momentum plays. With today's first one, we have Coinbase to the upside.
COIN. I actually love this one today. One of my favorites to play. If they can get back above $85.15, I'll watch for a nice move to the upside. Just be a little bit careful. There was a little bit of like a wick up here at the top. So just always be careful of that.
All right. With the next one, we have UVXY also to the upside.
Yeah, UVXY. Now, this one I think could be one of the more explosive plays, especially if the market keeps falling down. This could be awesome. So if this breaks out above $5.01, I'm going to watch this for a nice play. And Mike, I just want to point this out really quick. If we go to VIX on a daily chart, there is actually a huge trend line that we're bouncing off of here. So that just gives me even more confidence with UVXY.
Awesome. Now with the last one, we have Peloton, but we need both directions.
PTON. So to the upside, go ahead and make them break above 1760. They actually had a really nice print up there. Nice extension up towards that. If they end up breaking down below 1620, then watch for a play to the downside. I do think, though, Mike, that what's interesting is they're actually holding their support here pretty well, even in after hours. With these other stocks down, they're kind of still up in the green.
All right, there we go. So we're watching Peloton for potential day trade to the downside tomorrow, only if it breaks below that lower level. We're also watching it for a potential play to the upside tomorrow, only if it breaks above that upper level. We're also keeping a very close eye on UVXY and Coinbase, so COIN, for potential day trades to the upside tomorrow, only if they break above those upwards levels. But it is now time for what my favorite part of the video is, and that is the big money trade of the day. We had $700,000 go into the MIRM 25 strike call options that expire on April 21st of 2023. So MIRM, basically what this setup is with call options, for those of you who don't trade options, in this scenario, the big money wants this stock to go as high as possible. The higher it goes, the more millions they make. Looking at MIRM, this is a biopharmaceutical company. These stocks move in extremely crazy ways, and they are heavily influenced by news and some like their drug trials and all that good stuff. So given that these stocks are crazy and a lot of times can move off of big inside information, I really like the setup, Tom. The option is right at the money. It has some time, and I do like the setup, just given that the industry it's in.
Yeah, exactly. And what I really like is that it's at a big resistance. So if we start to maybe see a break above like 2450 or 2465, I think that we could maybe, start to enter this play, because it does have a little bit of time. And I feel like that they'd be looking for a pop up, a little bit higher than 25. They're probably targeting at least like 25, 50, 26, maybe even 27 27 would be another huge resistance if we could somehow get back up to there. But yeah, I like the strike, Mike. And, 700K into this can be pretty big. We've seen a lot of big money plays pop off lately. So don't sleep on it. Throw it on the radar. Yeah, I know it's not, it might not be as cool of a play as like if this was Palantir or something, given it's a biopharma stock. But, for a lot of the guys out there who don't know how biopharma stocks move, man, yeah, they can have some insane explosions on some news. And if someone knows something, 700 grand, Mike, they definitely did their research.
Exactly. Like, there's no way they just randomly decided to put $700,000 into this specific option. What I will say with this setup, though, out of any other setup we talk about, I want to emphasize this one specifically, that this play can take time. This type of setup most likely has some sort of inside information to do with either a news event, just any sort of update at all. So, like, I would not be surprised if this one can take weeks or even months to play out, but I still like the setup. I really want to emphasize that this one specifically, I would not be surprised if it takes time.
Yeah, exactly. Because like you said, they're probably waiting for some big event or for something to happen that would move the stock up. And, we don't know how long that might take. And yeah, they have enough time actually out to April 21st there. So I like that with the time. And I feel like that going forward here, as long as they get a nice breakout of this resistance at some point, it could end up being a pretty good play.
There we go. So it's definitely going to be close on my radar going forward. But either way, Tom, I am super pumped up for the market tomorrow. We saw a lot of amazing movement today. And by the way after hours is moving, it looks like that volatility is definitely going to continue into tomorrow. Do you have any final thoughts or anything you want to cover?
Yeah, just keep your eyes on that UVXY play from today. That momentum play, I feel like could end up being really awesome tomorrow. So watch for a break above like 501, 502, right around that $5 area. I think UVXY could be awesome. So keep your eyes on it. There's a lot of volatility coming into the market here, and I'm really hoping that we can hold up, Mike. But with these three tech stocks falling off in after hours, I'm not overly bullish for tomorrow, I can tell you that.
Yeah, for sure. So one more time, if you guys are into short-term trading, make sure to check out that first link in the description in the comments down below. There's no better program out there, and you will not find our bots and software anywhere else. Our bots just crushed it today. We had multiple 100% winners all within the same day. Of course, not every single play works out, but the bots have been doing a hell of a job lately. So definitely make sure to try it out. It's that first link in the description in the comments down below. Besides that, thank you guys so much for watching, and let's end the week on a strong note.